back. Fairway Conversations. Gabe the Cali Lobo here again with my main man, my kiddo, Gabriel.
What's up?
How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great today. You know, it's one of those days, traffic didn't bother me.
Good.
You know, I think probably part of it too was I got to talk to your sister on the way.
Uh-huh.
We were on the phone for about a good half hour, and she always brings some really good conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the other things that's really awesome about her now that she's getting older is she's very supportive and a little inspirational. And that's a thing too about you that I've been getting feedback on from the podcast is people love hearing what you have to say.
That's
and
cool.
It makes me so proud because it's like, to a certain extent, you know, it's like everything that I instilled in you guys and Sonia and your mom and Ryan, all this stuff that we put into you guys. And you guys have really turned out to be some really good people.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I love that. And I hear nothing but good things about both you and your sister from everybody I talk to that know you guys, and then people that listen to the podcast and hear what you have to say. It just makes me really, really happy.
Thank you. I think you definitely just hit the nail on the head right there. It's attributed to you guys as parents and instilling the appropriate values and being there and, you know, being supportive. It definitely makes it a lot easier to, you know, have these second nature things just happen because, hey, we are taught the appropriate way to do it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Even talking with Austin, and for those that don't know, Gabriel's coach through High Rocks has been Austin Main. Austin said through Gabriel he wanted to work with me a little bit. He and I had a couple of conversations. I'm working with Austin now. I'm loving it. And man, same thing. Nothing but great things to say about you as well. So Austin is a great, great dude. Every time I talk to him, it feels like there's so much more to say.
Yep.
And, you know, and he always has great insight himself. So shout out Austin Main.
Yeah, shout out him, man. I'm really glad you're getting to work with him because a lot of times what happens is, you know, we think that we've reached this threshold of like, I can't do any more because I'm doing the best of my ability with myself. And it takes someone outside of your personal realm. You know, Sonia, or a close family member, a friend, right? That they can only go so far for you. It almost takes somebody from the outside, someone who's not necessarily a part of your life, to like have to push you to bring new things to you and to excite you, because that's, you know, that's part of why I enjoy having Austin as a coach, because it brings out the best of me in ways that, you know, I can't maybe access myself, or I just need a little push from somebody else and knowledge and time and resources. So I think you're going to see a lot of growth over the next several months, and it's going to be hard. Change is hard, and but that's exciting. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we've talked about it offline a little bit, how the change for myself, it has been a little bit difficult. The change has really been that I've reduced the amount of working out that I was doing, and I've increased the amount of food that I've been eating. So with the initial conversations that he and I had, number one, he was saying part of maybe my issue is I'm spiking my cortisol, right? Because I'm pushing my body to its limit, working out 4 or 5 days a week, plus playing golf on top of that, and all of my other activities that I'm involved in and doing. And so my body's constantly holding on to nutrients, and I might be starving it out because, you know, maybe I'm fasting, or I'm only eating 3 meals, or I'm not eating the right types of meals, even though I've kind of, like he and I talked, and I've made better decisions when it comes to selecting food that I'm eating, which is definitely a positive, and not going for what is the most fast and the most easiest, but finding some better combinations of that, but then increasing the amount of food that I'm eating. He says that'll probably help stabilize my HRV, help stabilize that cortisol, help me with better sleep, And I love my nighttime dessert that I'm having.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
great.
well, before we dive, because I want to touch on several things you just talked about.
Sure.
What is your current nighttime dessert?
It's the what's the name of that stuff? Like the yogurty stuff.
Skir?
Skir. So it's
Yep.
either but I'm going with a little bit of Greek yogurt right now. So a
Hmm.
little Greek yogurt with the pumpkin seed and the frozen cherries
Yep.
and with cinnamon on top and mixing it all together. Man, you chop up those cherries, you mix it all in there. Whoo, boy, that thing is just, it's love it,
Dude.
love it. And then Sonia comes to me and she tells me, well, you know that those cherries themselves, they have melatonin in them and they help you with your sleep. And I was like, I
Yep.
didn't realize that. And I'm like, I could have been eating this like the entire time and I
Yep.
love it every single night. And she's like, yeah. She's like, it has melatonin and what he's laid out for you is actually helping you to increase better sleep at night.
Exactly. See, those are the things that people miss a lot. And all right, I'm gonna get into it, but I love that we just hit the ground running here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just had for my dessert, he in my meal plan he called it a goat bowl. So it's skir,
Yep.
cherries, cinnamon. I have some gluten-free oats and some dark chocolate chips. So
Yeah.
all of it mixed together. I heated up the cherries just a little bit so I can get kind of like the warm consistency as I mixed it up, and it was so good. So good.
I'm
But
gonna
you're
have to
right.
try that. Yeah.
There's so many people who don't realize that cherries naturally induce a melatonin release to allow you to get into a more relaxated state. Same thing for cocoa powder. Whenever he gives you cocoa powder at some point to make pancakes, same thing. Cocoa powder releases that same thing to allow you to go into a more relaxation mode
Hey.
for your body. But that's really cool that you guys have already touched on it. Is we don't realize that, hey, I need to eat less to lose weight. I need to eat less to do X, Y, or Z. It's false. It's a multifaceted approach. It's almost like a triangle or a circle. Everything's on the same spectrum as each other.
Yeah.
When you deprive your body of the appropriate nutrients at the appropriate times, your body's going to try to compensate for it in some way. It's either going to go get your muscles, your muscle mass to eat, or it's going to start saying, oh, I need to hold on to body fat because I'm in fight or flight mode, and I need to hold this body fat because I'm hungry, because you're not feeding me enough. And then also the
I was
stressors.
in number two. I'm
Yes.
in number two, which is the fight or flight mode is what
Yep.
he was telling me, because I'm holding on to that fat because I'm spiking cortisol and my body is like, oh shoot, I'm speaking in third person, but Gabe's gonna play golf. Gabe's gonna exercise hard. He's gonna do this. He's gonna be active. He's gonna be moving all over the place when he's at work. And so we got to hold on to these things in order to make sure he's got the fuel that he needs to perform.
Yeah, because that's what your body's trained to do and knows what to do that, because it's been so that's just what you know. And the third thing that kind of goes into it, and you talked about it, is you're reducing your training volume. And one would think, oh, that's not good. Well, it's actually really good for you, because you're number one, you're reducing that stress level. Number two, you're allowing your body to rest and allowing it to recover. So that way, when you do exercise and you do eat food and you do all these things, that it actually allows you to lose weight, to build muscle, to be able to sleep better, to recover better. Everything all as a whole, it all ties back in together.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool that you guys have automatically hit that on the head, because I didn't even start getting into that for months. Right.
Yeah.
It was just kind of some other things. So that's awesome.
Sure. And it really came out of he and I talking, and that was one of the things that we discussed. Was so many times I've gone to the gym, whether it's Gold or Fitness 19 or what have you, and they try to sign you up for that personal training, and all they try to do is fit you into their mold. It seems like every single time I see somebody getting trained, they're going through the same exercises every single time, and because that's their standard that they're looking for. And that was my big thing before I signed on with Austin, that I talked to him about, is I want it to be individual. I know that we're not going to be together all the time, but I wanted to feel like if I have issues or adjustments that I need to make that we can work together on this thing. And, even after a couple of check-ins and everything else, like I mentioned to him, ski erg. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily have access to ski erg locally. I do have access to a ski erg with one of my memberships. I can go to Gold's, but it's 45 minutes away for me to get to that Gold's gym. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, forget it. Forget ski erg right now. He's like, do something different. That's also one of those things. You have access to the rowing machine. And I said, yes. He's like, okay, so instead of ski erg on that date, do rowing machine instead of
Mm-hmm.
ski erg. And so, um, that's what I really want, is that ability to talk to somebody. Let's make those adjustments on the workout,
Yep.
see what we can do to make it better. He and I even talked about it. You and I talked about it offline, that I was a little bit worried about, bench press because of some previous, not major injuries, but I played quarterback growing up. I had rotator cuff type of stuff. He was like, I, it's going to be form. He's like, it's not going to be, you need to work on your form. So he sent me the videos on, let's make some better form with
Yep.
it first, take that pressure off before we actually change that lift. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, let's not dump it yet. Let's see if we can adjust the form and make it better. Made some adjustments, and the last couple of weeks, just trying to push to put 5 to 15 more pounds on as
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving up. And I've always been nervous because there's nobody for me to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
to discuss these things with. So it was, I went to school for kinesiology. I understand the nutrition. Did I always follow it? No. Do I still follow? He and I discussed, got to make some concessions here or there because of work, and I might have a lunch or something, just trying to make better decisions on those days. But, uh, it's one of those things of like understanding what needs to happen. And I know what I need to do, but when I don't have somebody to kind of talk to about it, and you and I have talked about it, which has really helped me to improve my workouts as well, but not really having that person that I can trust and talk to about it, you get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And I maxed myself out, not the weight maxing out. Like I wasn't a max out lift. I maxed myself out mentally.
Yes. That's a really good point, man. You're hitting some really good points right now. And what we call that is a limiting belief.
Oh.
You put yourself into this box, and we
Mhm.
always do it. And I'll give you an example here in just a second of how I just did that recently. But yeah, you put yourself in a box of, oh, I can't do that, oh, I can't do this because of what happened in the past. And it was a lack not of your knowledge or want to. It was a lack of somebody to talk to kind of verify, because you're a professional in your own industry. You don't do this every day. You don't live, eat, and breathe it. Other people do. So that's why we utilize them to help us do that, and it allows us to be better in our own professions, in our own
Sure.
rights, and how we treat others. Everything. Um, but that's all that was, and it's really cool to have him to be able to bounce those ideas off of. And it's not cookie cutter. Like you and I had something similar for our desserts. You want to know why?
Hmm.
Because it's summertime,
Mhm.
and he actually rotates some things throughout the year. Like when it was October, I was having like a pumpkin puree bowl or pumpkin
Mm.
pancakes.
Okay.
And then it got to be winter time, and it was a little bit more French toaster pancakes with some different. So me and you are kind of having similar things, but it's because, hey, it's warmer outside. Let's get some yogurt in there. Let's get some frozen fruits,
Yeah.
some frozen cherries involved. So they all kind of, everything's messed around, different doses for people, and everything like that. But that's what I like about it. It's not a one size fits all, but he does rotate to keep the brain fresh, to keep you like, oh, I still enjoy what I'm eating, and it's not
Yeah.
always the same.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And that was one of the things he and I discussed, was that. And like I even told him, one of my big struggles is meal prep overall. I've done it before. I can meal prep for the entire week. But by day 3, I get tired of reheating something that I cooked on Sunday.
mm-hmm,
Right. And so I've got to figure out, how do we incorporate it or cook it, or just to make it a little bit more fresh.
mm-hmm.
I get to Friday and I'm looking, I'm like, man, this thing was cooked on Sunday. You
Yeah,
and so how do I
yeah.
make it a little bit more fresh
You
once in a
know,
while?
that's a good point. I actually had that same thing, as I'm like, gosh, like by the time I get to the end of the week, I'm like, this doesn't smell right,
Yeah.
and you kind of get like turned off on it. So what I've been actually doing is Um, I cook I cook 2 times a week, and it's not what you think. It's not me cooking for hours. It's literally I just cook ground for the most part. It's a lot of it's ground beef for me. Ground beef twice a week. It takes a half hour for me to just throw it on there, let it cook, stir it around, throw it on there, and then I put it away. Rice, if I have rice, I get bags. Like I get the little bags, the heatable ones. Are they probably the best for me overall? No, but they fulfill the purpose of what I need from a carbohydrate standpoint, and it just fits it so it's more fresh. I heat it
Yeah.
up every day, it's fresh. So I agree with you. I try to pick, like, usually it's like Sunday and right about Wednesday, which is like today, I'll cook a little bit more. With this holiday weekend, it kind of messed up. I cooked my beef yesterday.
Yeah.
So I cook about twice a week, and it takes no time and just a little bit more effort just to ensure that, like you said, that freshness,
Sure.
so that you're not like, oh.
Yeah, man. So Austin was in town with you a little bit. You guys had a workout together.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went great. So he came in. Lauren was in Florida for her bachelorette trip. She's in Key West, Florida. It looked fantastic. The water was beautiful. The weather was 84 degrees all week for them. It was just incredible. But yeah, he came in when she was out of town, and he actually stayed the night here. He stayed upstairs, and he woke up bright and early with me, and at 4:30, and we got our stuff together. We went to the gym, and somebody else that he knew, that I kind of knew, and now I've met. His name's Murphy. Shout out Murphy. He trained with us. So Thursday is actually one of my big quality session days. So and when we say quality session, that means like it's a lot of effort. It's a big day. So I eat a lot of food that day, a lot of carbs that day to fuel and make sure that I'm good to go. But we had a big lower half day, and when you're with the guys, you're with the boys, and you're lifting, everything kind of, you get excited. All of a sudden, the weights you're using are a little bit heavier, and but not necessarily that point. But it was good to have him there, like judging my form, and he gave me a really good fix on my safety bar squat when we were doing something with like how I'm hip hinging and things like that, and how I'm pressing through the ground. Just overall, it was great. And then they got to come into my world a little bit, where I've been training with the running. And we were doing intervals. So it was a 400-meter run followed by, so it was a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio. So if the 400 meters took me 80 seconds, you get to rest for 80 seconds. If it took you 85, you rested for 85. So we did intervals, and it was a big day. It was a great day though.
Hey,
it was perfect. So it's always fun to do that with the guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I had a pretty good workout today that I really enjoyed. So it started off with face pulls, and then that led into tricep extensions. From tricep extensions, moved into bench press. And then from bench press, I was in 200-meter rows. Then I was into a sled push, and then into 15 wall balls, and I had to do 5 rounds of that, and I had to get it done in under 4 minutes. And if I finished in under 4 minutes, then I could have whatever time was left over for rest before I hit the next one. And
before mom. Yep.
Yes. Yep. And man, I walked away. I was like, I felt pretty good. Like, I think overall for myself right now, cardiovascular wise, I'm feeling okay. Am I at the next level? Yes, I've moved up from the levels that I was at to the next few levels up. But of course, always more room for improvement. But I walked away, and I was actually I could have probably did like 3 more rounds.
Yeah. There you go.
That's how I felt. When I got in the car and I drove away, I was like, yeah. I mean, not that it was easy, but it just felt like I had more in the tank.
See, that's for people who are listening right now. Let me explain exactly what just happened. My dad is being put through a regimen where he had these really nice, we call them bro lifting. You're doing arms, you're doing back, you're doing chest, you're hitting all of these things. You're optimizing your testosterone, your hormones to just activate and be like, yeah, like let's get the blood flow to the right spots. And then you're hitting a cardio workout. It's not supposed to kill you. It's just supposed to get your heart going. It's supposed to get you into that kind of like release that dopamine and release that, all of those good things in your brain, and be like, yeah, this felt good. And when you left, you're like, I could have done more. But that's how you're supposed to feel. You're not supposed to be absolutely destroyed after every single session. Right. That's how you get better. That's how you progress. And over time, you're going to be able to do that for 10 rounds and have the same thought you had today.
Sure.
So it's and it's quick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was quick. I got it done pretty quick. Something's coming up here pretty fast in like a week and a half.
Oh, tell me.
It's the challenge. It's the 5K, 3 miles.
Oh my gosh, that's coming up, huh?
Yes, it's not. We're recording on a Wednesday, and it's not the Saturday that's coming up. It's the following Saturday. So,
Okay.
I'm pretty excited about it. Honestly, I have backed off of some of the running training with some of the new stuff, but I feel like I'll be ready to go. Just cardiovascular wise and the run. And I already know that I can run 3.5, 4 miles. So I think I'll be, well, I will be okay.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, man, it's that first challenge that's coming up here in just a week and a half.
Let's go. All right. I'm excited, dude. Has it already been 6 months pretty much?
It's been 6 months already.
It's already
almost.
been, I think we dropped the challenge in,
January.
Was it Vegas? Yeah, right before Vegas.
Yeah.
Yep. So, dang, man, time flies.
It goes by very, very quickly. And, High Rocks is going to be here before you know it. Oh, shoot.
I know. I know, but this is going to be a really good, not just like a physical thing, but also like a mental building block to put on your base, under your base and in your foundation, is to have that under your belt. And it'll give you a lot of confidence and be like, yeah, like I can do that. I might hurt a little bit, but or I might be sore after, but that's a good thing. Just another mental thing for you to build off of.
Sure. I haven't really set a time that I want to hit. Of course, I'm thinking, under 45 minutes is the goal. I mean, that's my that is the goal that I've kind of set for myself. It shouldn't be an issue, but you never know. I mean, you're out there on the road, you don't know what's going to go down sometimes, but
adrenaline.
Yeah, man, I know it's going to be faster than that. I know that for sure, especially getting a little bit of that competition. And this run that I'm running suits me, overall that I'm going to be doing. So it is a straight pathway on this run, so that's good. It's not going to be twists and turns and having a little bit of an uphill. It's actually going to be a slight downhill most of the way. So it's one of the quickest half marathons. When people are trying to get to the elite levels of running, this is one of the events, not the 5K version, but the half marathon version. This is one of the events that they go to because they can get those quicker times.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited that my first one out the block, that it should suit me.
Yeah, big confidence booster. That'll be really, really good. And you said, so I guess about 10 days from now, 11 days from now?
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Let's go. It's in Fontana, right?
Yeah, it's a Fontana Days. For those that don't know, I grew up in Fontucky when it was Fontucky. And it used to be a small town where the town shut down to follow the football team when they went away for away games. So when I was a youngster, I used to run in the Fontana Days competitions. And I've actually ran one of my fastest 1 mile runs in Fontana Days, which was 5:02. So nice. 5 minutes, 2 seconds in a mile. I was flying pretty quick, and I never broke the 5-minute mark. I think I've ran 5:01, 5:02. That's been the fastest. I haven't broke 5 minutes. Of course, that was a long time ago and 100 pounds ago, but maybe a little less than that, but still, yeah, I used to be a speedster like that.
Yeah, you were the fast guy. And the Fontana Days is like a big event, and so they do the races. What else do they have going on?
It turns into like a little carnival and stuff that happens, and it's a weekend type of deal that happens over there. And it's been a long time since I've been over to Fontana Days. So, but they have the run competitions. They have other competitions that were happening. It used to be they would do stuff like egg toss and balloon toss and all of these different various competitions. They have like karaoke singing, plus on top of the fact of like the carnival type of things and all of this. So it used to be like a really, really cool thing to do. I don't know what it's like anymore. I don't know if it's even anywhere near what it used to be. Maybe it's much bigger. Who knows? But growing up when it was Fontucky, like that was a place to be, was that Fontana days, and you look forward to that.
Yeah, that I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially being in some familiar grounds and in an area where you grew up. Like I said, that's a really good foundation block to have. Just the mentally, sentimentally, and
Yeah.
physically, it'll all be good. Is Sonia gonna go cheer you on?
I hope so. I otherwise I'll be running out there, and then somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, that's Gabe."
Sonia, you better be there. Go support.
Yeah, she'll probably be there. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if she wasn't. But
Yeah.
how are you doing? With you're doing a half marathon, right? Training right now?
Not right now actually.
Okay.
So
Okay.
made some adjustments. So initially I was kind of cutting weight. But I got some blood work back, and there's some different things that I need to address, and
Mhm.
basically I need to, right now is an off season. So there's building blocks that I need to put down even now that would allow me to be able to train better, recover better, and everything in several months from now when I'm really hitting it hard.
Okay.
When we get more specific with high rocks training. So right now, really building on strength training. I'm still doing, high rocks work, whether it be at the end of a workout or at the end of a lift. I'm still doing interval runs. Like I said on Thursday with Austin, I usually do one interval run a week, one high rock session a week, and then one long run a week right now. So like week before last, I did like 10 miles, or I did 10 miles last week. A week before last, I did like 9. I did like 12 a couple weeks before that. So, and then this week I have 9. So I'm still, getting aerobically fit. I'm still running. I think I'm building right now to about 20 miles this week. I'll do 25 miles next week, and then I'll do 30. We'll drop the mileage back down a little bit, and then we'll stay at 30 for pretty much the rest of the off season.
Mm.
And then once we get back into the nitty gritty of trying to get like anaerobically fit, we'll get a little bit more specific with like hard, intense zone 4 workouts. So right now it's just all about, I'm eating a lot of carbs. I'm still holding steady on my body weight, and that's a really positive sign. That means my body's like finally like saying, okay, chill out. Your stress and cortisol I think are coming down finally, even for me personally,
Mhm.
just, with personal life things. And it just takes time to do that. It doesn't happen overnight. Even for someone my age, you got to stay slow and steady, and eat good foods and get good sleep and train correctly and not overdo it, and allow your body to have those building blocks so that when I am ready to push it, I will be able to handle it and not like fall apart.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
get it. I get it for sure.
but well,
I've been enjoying, real quick, sorry about that, but
no,
I've
go
been
ahead.
enjoying your little clips that you got on YouTube. You've kind of ramped up the social media with
Hmm.
some of the shorts and various things, whether it's on Instagram or it's on TikTok. And dude, you freaking still getting after it. I love it.
Yep. Yes. Thank you. It's like I said, I'm not ditching anything altogether. It's just about, being a little bit smarter. And um, right now, I think I weigh like 100, and I'm floating right now between like 195 and 198, 196 to 198. And ideally, when it comes race time in Dallas, I want to be like 190 to like 193, maybe.
Yeah.
Just, your body moves faster when you're lighter. That's
Yeah.
just, I don't need to be 175 by any means. I'm just saying that I can have the strength I have right now that I'm building, but also have a little less body fat. But you got to be in the right position to do so, right?
Sure.
You got
Yeah.
to be able to recover for that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but with all that being said, I'm also getting back into golfing.
Hey.
So yeah, there we go. Yep.
Hey.
I got, I don't know if you can't see it right now, but I got my putter right there. You
Okay.
can see it
I think I see the handle there just a
yeah,
little
you see
bit.
the handle. So I've got the mat in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been rolling some putts. I've been going to the range at least once a week. So tomorrow, I have a zone 2 bike ride for about 40 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the gym in the morning instead of doing it here at home. I'm going to do it at the gym. And then right from there, there's a golf course right next to it. So
Mhm.
when I get finished up, I'm going to go to the range about 6:30 in the morning, go hit some golf balls, get some swings in, and just trying to get ready for the bachelor trip so I can
Hey.
play some good golf. And I'm trying to play this weekend up at the Coves is the plan. You know, so I'm just getting really excited.
Yeah, man. I'm getting excited too. We're headed to Park City, Utah
Yep.
for your bachelor trip. There's 11 of us, 12 of us that are going.
11.
11. So it should be a good time. We've got the house rented. We've kind of got the courses picked out. We do got to follow up and make sure that we've got everybody grouped together. But the itinerary, if any of the boys that are on the trip are listening to this, if it hasn't been released yet, it'll be coming out soon.
Yep.
So should be a freaking good time. I'm excited. I'm excited for the amount of golf. I'm excited to kind of hang out with the fellas a little bit.
Yep.
It just you know what I think what it is. Of course, I'm gonna be the old man on the trip, but it's that I'm sometimes the things that I miss about coaching really have nothing to do with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss winning and losing. Like all that stuff became relative. I didn't even care anymore whether we won or lost. I just cared, did we do our best? Of course I wanted to win, but that wasn't the end all of everything. But there's certain things like I miss listening to the fellas on the bench, just the crap that
Yep.
either talking to the other team or you guys you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's just like it's those little things, and that's what I'm kind of excited for, is being able to hear the fellas chirp again.
Yep.
And a lot of guys that are going, they're former baseball players, and you played with them over the years, and a lot of your friends and stuff. And so just to hear, that little banter and everything else, I'm excited. I'm excited for that because I have a feeling that's going to come out. And it's one of my favorite things. Like when I go and I hang out with my buddies, it's also aggravating too, but it's also like I miss it when I'm not there, is the chirping.
Yeah.
But I freaking hate it though at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's funny, but
it's the best. I know exactly what you mean. It's, just the kind of that camaraderie of being together. That's what I love about team sports is just doing all that, or even golf. It's not even a team sport, but when you're with other people and the right people, it's a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. We've got a minimum of 3 rounds guaranteed while we're there. I know you and I have talked about, trying to maybe squeeze in 1 or 2 more while we're there. But I didn't realize we've talked about it, but I didn't realize Park City is at like 6,700 feet elevation. So the ball's going to fly.
It's going to fly.
The ball's going to fly.
That's what I'm looking forward to is can I, on maybe a par 5, can I pound one out there about 350?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice to just really smoke one.
That would be really sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. And so overall, I've been playing quite a bit of golf. I played a week or so ago with my buddies. We played in our alumni tournament, had the best showing that we had as a team overall in the 4 or 5 years. Has it been that many years already that we played in that tournament? Maybe, but I think we were 2 off. We might have came in 2nd or 3rd place of winning. And that was after on the back 9, like we couldn't knock a putt down. So I think we ended up 14 under or 15 under or something, and could have been lower, but on the back 9, like I think we only made 2 birdies. So we were lighting it up. I think we made 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. So we were 13 under, 15 under won it, I believe. Not excellent golf. Like, some of these tournaments guys are going like 20 under, right? It wasn't anything like that. It stays pretty low key at our alumni tournament, but hit the ball pretty well overall. Had some bad shots too, but hit some great money shots at the same time. Like I hit this flopper off the left side of the green over a sand trap onto this little tiny green. And my buddy Chris, he was like, why are we picking this shot? There's this other shot. Yeah, it's further back. And it was like 80, 90 yards out. And, and so he was like upset, a little bit mad. Like, we should have picked the other one because it was in the fairway. Yeah, Gabe hit it far, but it's off to the side a little bit. And then all of a sudden, boom, I just popped it and put
You're
it
just
within
like,
like
that's
2
why we
feet.
picked that one.
Well, Matty V is the reason
Yeah.
why. He was like, that's why we picked that shot,
Yeah.
or Nesto is like, that's why, because Gabe gonna hit that shot. But and then we played Saturday after, and man, this course, freaking Industry Hills, is my nemesis. Like, I just, for whatever reason, I cannot seem to put 2 shots together back to back on that course.
Did you say that course is kind of like the tunnel one?
It is the tunnel course.
Okay.
Yes. And I had the mini driver out quite a bit, and it was not helpful for me on the course. It was and it wasn't. But, it was just, I couldn't put 2 shots together, and like hole 2, hit a great shot off the tee box. Short of the water, short par 4, easy chip. Chipping is what I do. That's my money maker, right? I'm pretty good on distance, but I can chip.
Yeah.
I freaking skull one into the bushes, have to take a drop.
Yeah.
Then coming out, take my drop, go to chip. It's in the rough. I duff it. Then I chip it again, hit the flop. It's downhill. It rolls all the way down. Then I 2-putt. That's like kind of how the day had gone. I couldn't put 2 shots together. I would hit a good driver shot and then actually follow it up with a pretty good iron shot. It'd be just off the green. All of a sudden I couldn't chip. And then it was in my head about, am I going to make this putt or not? Still, these mental blocks are there and need to figure out how to get past that. I don't know. I kind of told Sonia, I was like, I don't know, maybe I need to talk to some sort of sports psychologist or something. I don't know. Maybe one of your friends out there somewhere is a sports psychologist, knows a sports psychologist. Get me a session because I freaking need it. Like, I need to be hypnotized or something in order to get past this.
Yeah.
Yes. Hypnotize me just before I go to play golf with my buddies, because then I come back out and you and I talked on the phone after. I'm like, man, I'm going to take a little break. I'm not going to play, blah, blah, blah. I went on a long road trip for work. And on the way driving back, I'm like, I've been in the car for like 2.5 hours. I took my clubs to like hit. I said, I'm just going to go play. And I go out there and I swing it and I shoot in the low 80s all over again. This was leading up into the weekend. I turn around, play on the holiday, play with my buddy locally, Jeff. Shout out to him. Go out there, shoot 81, 82, and it's just he and I are just out there BSing. And, I'm basically in some Viore shorts, like my shirt's untucked. I'm playing with my buddies. I'm like trying to look like I'm a golfer, right? I think that's why I said it's here. I go out here on my home course and I'm just like in some tennis shoe looking golf shoes with some baggy shorts and my freaking shirt untucked. And I look probably like a jackhole out there and I swing it like I'm a professional.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what is going on with golf when it comes to playing with my buddies.
Yeah. Man, you just put so much pressure on yourself, just for no reason. For no reason.
And then there's certain other buddies. Like I played with Matt. Matt and I play with a group of buddies. We play together and whatever. Things happen in the head. I go and play with Matt. We play at another course. Yeah, I shoot 81, 82. I go with Jeff. I shoot low 80s, 81, 82 consistently. It's like when I get with a group of guys, and you start putting money on. And when we first started playing, dude, I was making all the cash.
Yeah.
Right. But for some reason, I've kind of lost it here just a little bit when I go out there and it feels like I'm paying out all the cash sometimes. So versus collecting, where before at the beginning, like I was just collecting. And now it's like, feels like I'm paying out all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you just, I recommended a book to you. I still haven't sent it to you. I'll do it as soon as we get out, but we'll just kind of revisit it real quick. So for those of you who don't know, I have a golf membership up at the lake, Grand Lake. It's this place called the Coves, and we got it back in May of 2023. And in June of 2023, we had a match play tournament. It was my first time ever playing in some sort of tournament golf. Never done it before. Well, what happened was it came all the way to the 18th hole, and I hit it out of bounds, and basically that was it. I lost by a stroke on that hole, and I lost the match play tournament, the opening round, the first round, to someone I probably shouldn't have lost to, and it really stung because being a competitive athlete and growing up and playing sports, like I've had moments where the moment felt big for me, and I felt like in some moments throughout my life and even later, and my last collegiate appearance in baseball, like I feel like I rose to the occasion and showed up when it mattered the most. And I couldn't always say that in the past. In some situations, that always eats me up mentally, and I'm okay with saying that now because I've acknowledged it, and but I felt like I had went backwards because of where my brain was at that point in the match. So that whole year, I was like, all right, I guess I'll try again next year. That whole year, I had that nasty taste in my mouth of what happened. And I remember I was like, I can't just let this happen. I can't just be like, you got this next time, blah, blah, blah. So I read a book. This guy called Dr. Brett McCabe has a book called How to Break Free from Suckville. And he works with professional athletes, a lot of golfers, baseball players. He's a baseball player himself. And it just really helped me reframe the thought process of pressure and expectations and what really matters. Even though you love what you do and you take a lot of pride when you do it, in this case it was golf, at the end of the day, that's not what makes or breaks you. It's everything else behind it. You get to do those things. So I think it would be really good for you to read, and anybody to read, even if you don't feel like you're in that spot. It's really good to understand and help you take into life, because I still think about that stuff when I'm out there. One of the things was get to green, like you and I have talked about, get back to green.
Get back to green.
Get back to green. So what I do is I just start singing this song. I won't tell you the song because I don't want anyone to know my song.
Sure.
But whenever I need to just chill out, or I sing my song to myself when I'm in the cart by myself. I'm like, and it works. It works. So I think you should try it, because I think it sounds like to me you just have a not performance anxiety, because you've done pretty well in tournament golf yourself, but maybe just a little bit of pressure when you're playing with the buds.
Yeah.
Because you just want to destroy them.
I do want to destroy them. I feel like I get destroyed. Even though I want to destroy them. And they actually, we'll see if we can set it up. They want to come on the podcast at some point, maybe. And so there's 3 of them, and do a little interview, I guess. We'll figure it out. We'll see if we can get them on, but it's just going to be them talking smack.
Yeah. I was about to say, it sounds like they're trying to get something here.
Yeah. That's basically all it is. Their opportunity to come in and talk trash to me on my podcast. On my golf podcast about my golf when I play with them. So but yeah, overall, man, I've been striking the ball really, really well. So I'm excited for everything that's coming up golf wise, the bachelor trip and us going to Park City. Excited about that. I was having some issues that I felt like with my irons. Went and saw my man, Richard, over here in Loma Linda, California. And Richard has this place. And if you've ever seen the movie Tin Cup, that's what his driving range looks like. It's a old school trailer, type of thing. That's the office. That's where everything is at. And then you have this dirt patch of driving range with bays on it. But Richard knows his crap. He really, really does. And I go in there and I talk to him and tell him the way I'm feeling, how things are going, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, go get your 7-iron. Bring that in here. Let's take a look at it. So I go and I grab it and I put it in there, and he's like, nope, nothing wrong with the lie. Nope, nothing. Look at the ball strike. He looks at it. He's like, no, you're hitting it in the middle. Looks at the bottom. Nope, it's wearing pretty even. He's like, yeah, your clubs are getting a little old. There's newer technology, stuff that'll help you out, those types of things. Do you have to buy a new set? No. If you want to buy a new set, I'll set you up, but you don't have to get a new set. But it's getting to the point to where they could be changed out. He's like, but he told me, he's like, it's all alignment. He's like, it's not even, he's like, it's your aim point. He's like, play with what you got and adjust that aim point just a little bit. See how that works. I've done that. Striping it. I've been really striking the ball really, really well. I've been really happy with everybody calls it the baby driver, but my mini driver, my buddy Jeff, he always calls it the baby.
Baby
like,
driver.
Was that the baby driver? I'm like, yeah. So I'm really happy with the mini driver. I've took out the 5 wood. I went to a 7 wood. I'm really happy with that thing. Cool. Coming out of multiple lies. So I like that. The bag is set up, man. The bag's on point. To be really honest, the bag's on point. It's up to me to do the work and get it done.
Yep, that's it. That's as simple as that, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Nothing to it but to do it.
That's it, Gabriel. Just nothing to it but to do it.
That's it. Yep.
All right, my man. Looking forward to what's coming up here pretty quick, but tell them where they can find you on social media.
Yes. On YouTube, you can find me at Gabriel Jacobo Jr. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want to see, what I do every day. High rocks, golf, recovery, walking the dog, hanging out with Lauren, all the things. On Instagram, you can find me at GBlockJacobo. And then on TikTok, you can find me at GJacobo, JUHCOBO. And I'm always posting. So go look, go watch, go like. And I would like for somebody to try one of the things I post on there and let me know what you think. And like stitch the video of you doing it and tag me showing you doing it. Or just tag me you working out. Just do it. I don't know. If you're walking, tag me, be like, getting after it. That's my thing right now. Get after it.
Hey, I like it.
If you anybody who's listening, if you're watching or if you see these videos and you're going to the gym or anything, just get after it and tag me and I'll repost it.
Hey, I like it. Like Gabriel, you can find me on social media at CaliLobo45 on Instagram. Also, check us both out on YouTube at Fairway Conversations. That's where you can catch the video version of our podcast. All the rest of the podcast is on all of the major platforms. So like, subscribe, leave a comment. We love it. And I love hearing the feedback. We'll be back again soon. Next time, we're going to have the results of my 5K.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can get in another episode before we head out to the bachelor party. So you can hear us before we've totally destroyed our bodies for 5 days.
Yeah, there we go. That's the best part.
All right, kiddo. I love you. We'll see you next time.